Hello students, in my last class I have discussed about this is a finance accounting class, financial accounting class. In my last class I have explained you about the definition of accounting, difference of bookkeeping and accounting, accounting cycle. I hope you all got it, and concepts and convention I have explained you. In my today's class, I am going to explain you about the classification of business transactions. What different types of transactions are there? How many types of business transactions are there? Relating to all those, we are going to talk about. All business transactions are classified into three categories: those relating to persons, those relating to property or assets, those relating to income and expenses. Those relating to persons means you will be very much familiar. Our names, Raj account, Salman account, like that. So the name of the person, the business transaction, a person in name, if he is indulging himself into any transaction, if he is doing any business transaction, so all those will be related to a person as such. Those relating to property means an asset, property, all the things what we have with us, that all will be called as an asset. Okay, a car, a bike, okay, a machinery, car, motor vehicle, land, property, right? These all are nothing but the assets for a business, or for a business of what a business is maintaining with it. Cash it could be, or any furniture it could be, or any machinery it could be. That will be an asset for the business. So those business transactions relating to, if you're purchasing anything, if you're selling any asset, if you're purchasing any machinery or car or something like that, that related to that property transaction happens, right? That is known as an asset. Okay, so those business transactions will be covered under the property assets as such. Those relating to income and expenses. Income and expenses here means, if you at all expenses will be there, right? Like you have paid the salaries, or commission paid, or interest you paid, okay, on certain, if you have taken a loan or something like that. Income means over here, if you have received any interest, or if you have received any commission, or if you have received any salary and all, these all are nothing but little bit incomes. Those all will be recorded at a place. So they are basically divided into three: all the business transactions relating to a person, relating to an asset, or relating to an income or expense as such. So now, relating to a person, those all will be included in the personal account. Okay, remember this. Relating to property assets, those all will be included in the real account. Personal, real, nominal means. Okay, remember this. All those transactions relating to a person will be recorded in the personal account. All those transactions relating to an asset will be recorded in the real account. All those transactions related to income or expenses will be recorded in the nominal account. Remember this. This is very important as such. Let's move on to the next slide now. See, basically their accounts are classified into two, and again they are subdivided. First, they are two: personal and impersonal. Personal, they are again divided into natural persons, artificial persons, and representative accounts. Natural persons, artificial, and representative. Whereas impersonal means real and nominal. Real is again divided into tangible real asset and intangible real asset. Let me come first to personal account. As I said already, transactions between a business entity. Business entity is nothing but a business parties to the business, and other persons are related in the personal account. So all those transactions related to a person. Any transaction, if you're buying anything, if you're buying from some Saroj, or selling to some Furhan as such, these things will be like, if you're dealing a transaction, if you're doing a transaction with any, your business is doing with any other persons, or their names will be included in the personal account. Remember this. Okay, now natural persons means accounts related to natural persons are called natural persons. The very first one, example, it could be Raj account, Vasu account, or Salman account. These all will come under natural persons. A name of the person. We ourselves, everybody will have an account. I know you yourself also may be having an account, I guess, in a bank, because you all will be dealing with this fees and all, right? So everybody will be having it. That is nothing but natural persons. Whereas artificial persons means over here legal. That will come to legal. An account recording financial transaction with an artificial persons created by law or otherwise is also known as artificial persons. Let's say banks will be there, right? Companies will be there, Wipro, firms, or Infosys, or any other company. It could be mutual, any mutual funds. It could be any thing is over here. Artificial means SBI, Kotak Mahindra, or it could be Andhra Bank, or it could be Union Bank, or Punjab National Bank, or RBI itself. These all are nothing but artificial. They have their name. They are legal into the business. So their name will be there, but they will not be real persons. But their name will be there, representing some group of people as such. So that is nothing but artificial personal account. Now representative, or this is also known as group personal account. An account indirectly representing a person or persons are known as representative personal account. When accounts are of similar nature and their number is large, it is better to group them under one head. Okay, and it is an representative account is opened. Okay, now let's say salaries account is there. Outstanding account, like last year you have not paid the salaries as such. So basically remember this, last year's account salary you have not paid it yet, so that account will be carried forward to the next year. That will be outstanding due, you have not paid it yet. That instead of what we are, instead of representing a person or persons, we are going to group them, and we are going to dump them in one large group. So that is the reason it is known as representative. Group will be represented over here. Okay, I hope it is clear to all of you. Now let's move on to the next one. The next one is impersonal account. Impersonal account is divided into, impersonal are nothing but which are not personal. Okay, which are not in nature of person as such, but definitely it will affect the business concern as such. One is real account, the other is nominal account. Now real account, the accounts related to properties and assets owned by the business concern, it will be included in the real account. Okay, assets, just now I have discussed, remember, here also I have said you those relating to property or asset. So if a business is having an asset, that is nothing but for a business, and land will be a plant means where manufacturing takes place. I hope you all are familiar, farm and all, where manufacturing takes place. For a business, a plant is an asset, a land is an asset. Plant and machinery where manufacturing takes place, it's an asset. Raw material is an asset. So all those things, cash that they are having in the business is an asset. So these all will take considered under the real account. Remember this is very important. All the assets, all the assets that are coming out of the business or going out of the business will be taken into consideration under the real account. Okay, now now real account are divided into two: tangible real asset and intangible real asset. Tangible means you can touch and feel, they are physically appearable. Okay, now companies also have an asset which you can touch and feel, or which you cannot do. Those assets are something like that you cannot touch, but they will be there in the business as such. So tangible assets means, the example as I said, land you can touch, building you can touch, car you can touch. Okay, whereas property, the property in sense car, building, plant and machinery, okay, gold, silver, whatever you have, those are the assets for the business. So those you can touch and feel, those known as tangible assets. Okay, whereas intangible, those are you cannot touch them, but you can feel them. It can be measured in terms of money as such. For example, let me tell you, goodwill will be there, the company reputation also will be there in the market. Actually, if you're good, if your company is doing good in the market, you will be paid for that also. Okay, so that is basically, that is known as goodwill. Okay, the other is copyrights. Copyrights are nothing but, you all are familiar I guess with the copyrights, but here what happens, once suppose I have introduced some music or some book I have written, that will be in my name. So I will be paid as long as that will be used in the market. Some amount, some percentage will be paid for me, because it's my invention, right? So it is a copyright will be written on my name. That means nobody can copy from my side. It could be music or it could be books and all. Nobody can copy. If you're copying with duly respect, you need to um, uh, specify it. Okay. So over here, intangible assets means they are not physically appearable, but they are asset for the business. So there is copyright. That means you're going to use it, you're going to continue it as long as you're going to use the business assets. That is another intangible asset. I hope it is clear to all of you. Real accounts are divided into real, tangible and intangible, which are physically appearable, which are not physically appearable assets. The another one is nominal account. These accounts consist of items which do not have existence, form or shape, but they can they are called as temporary accounts because they are transferred to other bigger nominal accounts as such. Because they the daily expenses and incomes, though all will be considered under the nominal account. In simple language, if I say here I have written those relating to income and expenses, those all will be included under the nominal account. That is the last one. So what more three important accounts are: personal account, real account and nominal account. Okay, so also if you are doing problems, you will be doing only in personal, real and nominal. Okay, I hope I made it clear to all of you. Let's move on to the next part. As I have written over, it's there, you can just read it out. Accounts which are transactions which with persons called personal accounts. A separate account is kept on the name of each person for recording the benefit received from or given to the person in course of dealing with him. Krishna account, Gopal account, SBI account, Nagarjuna finance account. These all are nothing but artificial, as I said. Krishna account, Gopal account will be natural persons, whereas SBI, Nagarjuna Finance Limited, Oval Reddy and Sons, HTML, these all are nothing but artificial, but they are into artificial account. Representative will take into consideration drawings account, a capital account. Okay. So next one is real account. The accounts relating to properties or assets are known as real account. Every business needs assets such as machinery, furniture, etc. for running its activities. A separate account is maintained for each asset owned by the business. Example: cash account, furniture account, building account, machinery account. I hope it is clear. So it is related to assets and properties of the business. Nominal accounts are related to expenses, losses, incomes and gains, are known as nominal accounts. So a separate account is maintained for each item with expense and losses. So salary account, stationery account, wages account, postage account, commission account, commission received, discount received. These all are nothing but these all will be included under the nominal account. I hope I made it clear. So now, before recording a transaction, it is necessary to find out which of the accounts is to be debited and which of the accounts is to be credited. First of all, before this, let me tell you one rule. There is a rule called double entry system. Okay, double entry system means for every transaction there will be two phases. One is receiving something and another is giving something of equal benefit. Suppose, as I said, I am purchasing some pen as such. Okay, if I am purchasing pen, I am going to give equal amount of rupees in return, that is 10 rupees, something like that. So for every transaction, for a business also, there will be a receiving aspect and giving aspect. Remember this. So for every business transaction, there will be a receiving aspect and giving aspect. So that is known as double entry system. For every receipt, there will be a giving also, payment also. So personal account says the account of person receiving benefit is to be debited and account of person giving the benefit is to be credited. Okay. So debit the receiver, credit the giver. Suppose Ram paid. So you are going to, what Ram is doing? He is paying. So that means he is giving. So you are going to credit the Ram. Suppose Salman received some amount. So who is receiving? Salman. So you are going to debit Salman. Remember this. The another one is real account. When an asset is coming to the business, you are going to debit it. See, if a person is released, so for every transaction there will be two aspects, guys. If it is a person name is being given in the transaction, any transaction, If a person name is given, if he is receiving something, you are going to just debit it. Now don't tell me what is debit and what is credit, because it's a terminology we'll be using. Whenever you are receiving something, you are going to name it as a debit. Whenever you're giving something, you're going to name it as credit. Okay, remember this. Receiving aspect, giving aspect. The another one is real account. As I said, real account is related to properties and assets, right? So properties and assets, if some property is coming into the business, purchase of machinery, let's say. So what is happening? Machinery is coming into the business. You are going to debit the machinery. Sale furniture, if you say. So what you're going to do? Furniture is going out of the business. You're going to credit the furniture. That is how you're going to do. So these are the golden rules of account. These are the 3 golden rules of accounts: personal account, real account, and nominal account. These things are very important for an accountant. These things, if you listen it, if you understand it, you are going to use it as long as you remember the accounting terminology, because these are very important things, golden rules of accounts. These are the 3 golden rules of accounts. First is debit the receiver. If a person is receiving something, you're going to debit him. If a person is giving something, you're going to credit him. If some furniture or some asset means property. Okay, asset means whatever the business is owning. If a person is receiving something, if something is coming into the business, if he's purchasing something, if it is coming into the business, it's related to goods. Let me tell you, it's related to goods, furniture, cash. It could be cash, machinery, building, or goods. Purchase goods बोल के भी they'll give you goods. Or it could be any asset, any other asset. It could be mobile, motor vehicle, property, land, anything. If you are purchasing, if it is coming into the business, you are going to debit. It is a second rule, real golden real second rule. If something going out, if you're selling machinery, if you're selling furniture, if you're selling some other good, so sale of goods, so you're going to credit according to that rule. Okay, so debit what comes in, credit what goes out. I hope I made it clear to all of you. This is the second golden rule of account. The next one is nominal account. When an expense is incurred or loss encountered, the account representing the expense or loss is to be debited. So over here, the next one is nominal account. When the expense is incurred or loss encountered, the account representing the expense or loss is to be debited. When any income is earned or gain made, the account representing the income or gain is to be credited. Now, let me tell you. Salary paid, commission paid, interest paid. These are the things which will be dealt by the businesses. Any business concern it could be, or salary paid, or what we can say, some expenses paid. So these, or loss on fire, or loss on goods, or loss on some other thing, those all should be debited. Okay, remember this. It's very important. Loss on sale of good, then it is the debited. Whereas there is a income, suppose salary received, or commission received, interest received, discount received. Okay, these all are nothing but the incomes, benefits to you. Then it is called as income or gains. When such things will be given in the exam or in the question, that has to be credited. Remember this. These are the very important 3 golden rules. Debit the receiver, credit the giver. Debit what comes in, credit what goes out. Debit all expenses and losses, credit all incomes and gains. This, remember this. Let me explain you the further part. Then I am going to go to the problems also as such. The first step in accounting, therefore, I have already explained you regarding this. I will explain it again. The first step in accounting, therefore, is the record of all the transaction, the books of original entry, that is, journal, and then posting into ledgers. The word journal is derived from the Latin word journ, which means a day. Therefore, journal means a day book. In day-to-day business transactions are recorded in the chronological order. That means journal is being derived from a Latin word journ. Okay, that means a day book. That means daily transactions will be recorded chronologically. That means first come, first serve. Once the transaction is recorded, that will be posted according to that time, date, everything. So first come, first serve. Okay, that is known as basically chronological order. Journal is treated as the books of original entry or the first entry or prime entry. Yes, because once the transaction, you have a proof of vouchers and all. So when you have the such proof, you are going to record them. Okay, all such transactions will be recorded in this book before they are posted into ledger. The ledger journal is a complete and chronological in order of dates record of business transactions. It is recorded in a systematic manner, that is one after the another, as this has been taken place. The process of recording a transaction in a journal is called journalizing. The entries made in the books are called journal entries. The entries that are made in the books of accounts are known as journal entries. Remember this is very important. The performer will be like this: date, particulars, LF, debit, credit. Date will be given. Particulars means such if any transaction is being taken place, you are going to write over here. LF is nothing but here in ledger you are going to write down JF, and LF is nothing but the uh, LF is nothing but ledger folio. See now, after posting journal entry, suppose you have purchased anything, you are going to post over here. You are going to record over here. Then you are going to transfer it to the ledger account. Yeah. Now, the date, now let's say January 1, 1998. And this has to be matched with that, right? Which we are posting in the ledger account. That is the reason in LF you are going to write down the page number. Here we are not going to do in our problem. This is for practical experiences by the companies and all. But here you need not to write anything. You just leave empty assets. But why I am just telling you for the reference, because LF means ledger folio. This has to be matched with the ledger account. That is the reason this will be left empty assets. I hope I made it clear. Debit, credit. Same amounts will be there. If you are receiving something, you are going to debit, paying, credit. Now next one is ledger account. So the next step after journal is the next step is ledger. After journal is ledger. So it is designed to group the various types of transactions under different types of transactions, grouping them. Basically what we are going to do, we are going to group them, similar kind of transactions under one head. That is known as ledger. Okay, they are classified. The process of transferring the entries from journal to ledger is known as posting. As I said, example of if you can remember, salary paid to Ramu, salary paid to Sita, something like that. If you write different, what is happening? We are going to writing them differently. But once we post them, we cannot write differently. So we are going to group them under one head as such. We are going to group them under one head called as ledger. Instead of writing them individually, separately, we are going to group them under one head is known as ledger. Posting is the process of entering in the ledger the entries given in the journal. Posting to ledger is done periodically, maybe weekly or fortnight as per the convenience of the business. For each item in journal, a separate account is opened. Further, a new account is to be opened. Depending upon the number of transactions, space for each account is to be determined in the ledger. Okay, for each account there must be a name. This should be written in the top of the table. At the end of the name, the word account is to be added. The debit side of the journal entry is to be posted on the debit side of account by starting with TO. The credit side of the journal entry is posted on the credit side of the account by stating by. Here it will be credit. So this is the ledger performer. Here you are going to write date, particular, it is JF, not LF. Remember this. So date particular JF amount, date particular JF amount. Okay, this is not getting, edit option is not accepting. Just you remember this, date particular JF amount, date particular JF amount. Here, two, if you purchase anything, you're going to write, if you're receiving something, you're going to write on the debit side. If you're paying something, you're going to write on this credit side. Suppose if you purchased a machinery, what is happening? It is coming into the business. You're going to debit it. If you have sold something, so what is happening? Goods are coming into the business. You're going to write on the debit side. If you have so the source from where the cash is coming into the business, you're going to debit. The source from where cash is going out of the business, you're going to credit. That is how ledger account will be done. And detail I'm going to explain you again when we are doing ledger account actually. Now trial balance is nothing but it will be prepared to know the arithmetical accuracy. That means how accurately we have done our journal entries, ledger accounts and all. Because it's entire month things we are going to record at a place called journal entry and ledger. If you are done journal entries and ledger properly, then your trial balance will be right. If you have done somewhere some mistake, instead of showing that the balance has increased, you are showing that balance has decreased, some cash you have paid as such. So instead of paying, you said that cash you received. That's a mistake you did. Here there will be an error. That is the reason trial balance is prepared. How accurately? As I said, for every receipt aspect there will be a giving aspect. For every receiving aspect there will be a giving aspect. If you are receiving something of some benefit, you are going to pay of equal benefit and return. So if it is equal, that means your trial balance is right. Your debit should be equal to credit. If it is wrong, then it will be difference. Okay, here you are going to write down the names accounts, debit amount, credit amount. It should be equal as such. So let me show you. Now let me explain you regarding the journal entries. What are the three golden rules of accounts? I said the very first original books are journal entries. Three golden rules of accounts. The very first one is personal account. Problems I'm going to explain you like this only, guys. Debit the receiver, credit the giver. Second one is real account. Account can also be written as ACCOUNTS or A by C. Debit what comes in, credit what goes out. The third one is nominal account. Debit all expenses and losses. Credit all incomes and gains. Now, for posting each and every transactions, you need to follow these rules of accounts. Okay, now let me tell you. Let's say any transaction. Purchase goods from Raj, rupees 500, let's say. Okay, now before posting any transaction, as I said, journal entry for every transaction there will be two aspects, debit and credit. Okay, so here also what is happening, goods are coming in. Okay, so for every transaction you need to see they are belonging to which rules of accounts. You need to check that they are belonging either to personal account or real account or nominal account. So for every transaction there will be two aspects, as I said already. Here one aspect will be goods you are receiving, goods are coming in. Goods are coming in. Okay, this is one aspect. Goods are coming in means whenever, let me tell you one more thing, let me write down the examples over here so that you'll understand. Personal account means the names of the individuals will come. Raj account, Vasu account, Salman account, or Sunita account, or Asim account, something like that. If a person is receiving, you're going to debit him. If a person is giving, you're going to credit him. Okay, remember this. Now an asset, if anything is coming into the business, you're going to debit. If anything is going out of the business, you're going to credit. Here it could be purchase goods or sold goods, goods are going out, or machinery, cash, furniture, building. If anything is coming into the business, these examples are there. If these are things are coming into the business, you're going to debit it. If these things are going out of the business, you're going to credit it. Simple. If these things, if in a transaction, if you said you goods or machinery, something like that, if it is coming into the business, you're going to debit them. If it is going out of the business, you're going to credit this. Remember this, it's very important. Now the third point what I am going to tell you over here is, like for example, salaries, commission, or commission or interest, discount, or it could be loss, or it could be any receipt also simultaneously. Okay, so anything you have received, salaries or commission or interest or discount, if you are receiving, means any you are paying. Okay, remember this. If this debit all the expenses and losses means you have paid, expenses means you are paying from your pocket, then it is an expenditure. So when anything is you are paying out of your pocket, that is salary is paid if he has given in the question, or the commission paid, or interest paid, or discount paid, you are going to debit it. Remember this. Okay, simultaneously when anything you are receiving, suppose salary received, or commission received, or interest received, or discount received, or profit received, anything has been given as such, you are going to credit this. Okay, remember this is very important. Now for every journal entry, this transaction, this is known as the transaction. Remember this. The very first thing is preparing the journal entry. So now this transaction has been given, let's say purchase goods from Raj. So what is happening, what are the two accounts affecting? Purchase goods account, let me write over here. One is purchase goods account and the other is Raj account. And the other is Raj account. So Raj belongs to which one? Personal account, real account, or nominal. So he is belonging to personal account. Now purchase goods from Raj means what Raj is doing, whether he is receiving or giving goods, he is giving. So according to Personal account, what it says, when a person is giving something, you are going to credit him. Okay, remember this. Now, purchase goods belongs to real account. Debit what comes in. What is happening when you are purchasing goods? Goods are coming into the business. So, according to real account, debit what comes in. So, you are going to debit the purchase goods account. I hope I made it clear to all of you. So, how the journal entry you are going to write down? You know, this writing down in the journal entry is known as journalizing. Okay, now you are going to write down the journal entry is nothing but purchase goods account debit to Raj account. You are going to write down 500 rupees, 500 rupees. This is known as being narration. Being purchase goods from Raj. It's kind of a conclusion you are going to write down. I hope I made it clear to all of you. So now let's do the more problems on this, more examples so that you'll understand it better. Now let's say here, let's take the another example. Sold goods to Rita rupees 5,000. Now what are the two aspects you need to check first of all? Okay, remember this. What are the two things? One will be receiving, one will be giving. You all are familiar. Okay, one will be debit aspect, one will be credit aspects. One of the two aspects, one is sold goods account and the other is Rita account. So now what are the three golden rules of accounts? You need to check out. Personal, debit the receiver, credit the giver. Real, debit what comes in, credit what goes out. Nominal, debit all expenses and losses, credit all incomes and gains. Okay, so now what is happening over here is, sold goods. So what is happening belongs to which one? When something is coming into the business or going out of the business, they are belonging to real account. So sold goods belongs to real account. So what is happening when you are selling goods? Goods are going out of the business. So what real account says? Credit what goes out. So you are going to credit the sold goods account. So now what Rita is doing, it belongs to which one? Personal account. What personal account says? Debit the receiver, credit the giver. What Rita is doing? She is receiving. So you are going to debit the Rita. So the account will be now Rita account debit to. This is how you are going to write down a journal entry. To sold goods account or sales account. So here you are going to write down 5,000. 5,000. Don't worry, just an example I am explaining you for today. Tomorrow, in my next class, I am going to do problems. Being sold goods to Rita. Okay, I hope I made it clear. Now let's take next one. Purchase goods for cash from Ravi, let's say rupees 500, let's say. Now this is very important. they will be two different types of transactions, guys. I'm just going to write down over here. This also you need to remember. There will be two different types of transactions. One is different types of transactions. One is cash transaction and the other is credit transaction. Now, let me tell you the difference between these two. Cash transaction means spot payment. If I am purchasing something, I am paying immediately the amount. Okay. Now, credit transaction means I am delaying. I am asking him a period. I'll pay you after 1 week, or I'll pay you after 1 month, or I'll pay you after 6 months, like that, because business will be not small, isn't it? Big business transactions will be dealing with big amounts as such. So immediate payment is known as cash transaction. Installment payment or delay in payment is known as credit transaction. Now, when you are paying amount immediately, you need not to pay him anymore. You're not dealing with him anymore, so you need not to specify his name. Now, when you are paying the amount, here see what is happening. Sold goods to Rita. That means he has not. Rita has not paid you amount on time. That means on that moment only she is not paying the rupees 5,000. That means she is taking time. These types of transactions are known to be that. Okay, that means you are not paying the immediate amount. You are taking a time either to receive or to pay. You are taking a time, 1 month time or 6 months time, like that. Now, if you are paying immediately, that is a cash transaction. So you need not to remember his name also, because you are no more concerned with him, because you paid him cash. Or sale also is the same manner. Sold goods for cash also, if he gives you the same manner. I'll just write down over here the same thing. If it is sold goods for cash also. So such transactions means you are going to specify what is coming, what is going. That's it. You need not to consider here the name of the person, because once the transaction is done, you are not required to mention his name, because he has paid the he'll be paying, or will be paying them. You need not to deal with them anymore, because you are not concerned after paying the amount, isn't it? For example, see, you go to a store okay, you purchase some soap. Do you write his name? No, isn't it? He is going to write down your name if you are making a delay in the payment. After 1 month I will give you, भाई साहब अगले महीने दे दूंगा मैं पैसे, रिकॉर्ड कर लो मेरे नाम पे. मीन्स व्हाट ही विल डू, ही विल कीप ए रिकॉर्ड ऑफ इट, isn't it? अगर आप इमीडिएटली पे कर देते थे तो नेक्स्ट मंथ में पे करना ही नहीं है बोले तो आपका रिकॉर्ड करके भी क्या करेगा, isn't it? तो आप इमीडिएट पे करें तो नीड नॉट टू रिकॉर्ड इट विथ यू एनी मोर, बिकॉज यू आर नॉट कंसर्न. सो यहाँ पे जब दिया परचेज गुड्स फॉर कैश फ्रॉम रवि, यू नीड नॉट टू रिकॉर्ड द रवि नेम, बिकॉज ही हैज पेड द अमाउंट इमीडिएटली. You are paying the amount immediately to Ravi. What is happening? Goods are coming. You are going to write down 3. What are the 2 aspects? Write down. One is purchase goods account, and the other is, remember I am telling again and again, अगर डिले हो रहा पेमेंट में तो आप you are going to write down the person name. If there is no delay, or there is no delay in taking or paying the amount, you need not to, because you need not to record the person name, because वहाँ से तुम्हारा पैसा आ गया, you are not more concerned about it. अब यहाँ पे क्या है, आप कैश इमीडिएटली पे कर दिए, गुड्स ले रहे हो और कैश जा रहा है, रवि का नाम लिखने की ज़रूरत नहीं है आपको. रिमेंबर दिस इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. अगर कैश के साथ आपको बंदे का नाम भी दे रहा है तो आप बंदे का नाम नहीं लिखेंगे. क्यों बोले तो यहाँ पे इमीडिएट कैश पेमेंट हो जा रहा है. Remember this, immediate cash payment is happening. Goods are coming and cash is going out. Both belong to real account. Both of them, what is coming in debit, what comes in credit, what goes out. Both are goods are coming and cash is going out. So you are going to debit the Purchase goods account. Purchase goods account debit. To cash account 500 as being goods purchased for cash from Ravi. You just need to write down the narration if you are want to write out also. Being purchased goods from Ravi. ये क्या है? Narration है. You are going to write down. That's it. I hope I made it clear this transaction. If you are making a spot payment, you need not to write down. Then let's say sold goods for cash. Sold goods for cash rupees 4,000, let's see. So what is happening? What are the two aspects? One is cash account and the other is sold goods account. What is happening when you're selling goods? Cash is coming into the business. See, debit what comes in, credit what goes out. Cash is coming into the business, so you're going to debit the cash account. To sold goods. What is happening when you're selling goods? Goods are going out of the business. To sold goods account 4,000 being sold goods for cash. Now here see what happened. Ek sold goods belongs to real, Rita belongs to personal. Okay, that happens. Sometimes both belong to same account. Like here we have seen purchase goods to cash. Both belongs to real account. Purchase goods are coming into the business and cash is going out of the business. The same manner, sold goods for cash. Cash is coming in and goods are going out. So you are going to debit accordingly and credit accordingly. Now what is happening? Let's say another example. Let me give you. Salaries paid. Let's say salary is paid rupees 5,000. So now what is happening when you're paying salary? Cash is going out. Cash belong. When you're paying something, when you're receiving something, he'll not say salary is cash paid. No, he'll say doesn't think what is paid. That's it. You need to analyze that what it is. So here cash is going out. You're paying the cash, so cash is going out. This belongs to real account. One is real account and the other is salaries. Salaries belongs to. Now tell me, what is salary? When you are paying something, it is an expenditure for you. Expenditure belongs to which one? Expenditure belongs to nominal one. What nominal account says? Debit all the expenses and losses, credit all the incomes and gains. So now here salary is an expenditure for you. So you are going to debit the salary account. This belongs to real account. What is happening to cash? Cash is going out. When you are paying salary, cash is going out. So you are going to credit the cash account. So now when you are paying salary, it is an expenditure for you. So debit the expenses, credit what goes out. So salary account debit, the entry will be, this is known as basically the journal entry. Salary account debit to cash account being salaries paid. So what I am going to do, I am going to wind up over here. I am going to explain you further problems in my next class. It's just an overview, just an example what I have given you to understand the concept of 3 golden rules of accounts. This is very important. I hope you all understood it. Because if you have any doubts regarding anything, regarding any of the golden rule of account, you just mention me. I'm here to clear your doubts. Okay, so I'll wind up the class over here. This is just the small examples what I have given you to understand the concept, the 3 golden rules of account. I'm going to do more problems on this because it's a subject new for you, and make it easier hopefully, inshallah. I hope you all got it. See all of you guys. Bye all of you.